Greetings, YouTube. It is I, the Hyper Moment, and this is just something, it's kind of come, this whole thing of internet censorship and the online harassment and all this other nonsense. And I basically kind of went off on a bit on Anita and Zoe Quinn. Okay, I went off a lot on them, but what the internet is like giving everyone access to a PA system with very little to no ramifications to what they say on the PA system. Everyone remembers the PA system in the high school. You know what I'm talking about. And that's basically the internet. You can say whatever you want over the PA system. Only in high school you couldn't say whatever you wanted to say. However, on the internet you can. Now, bear in mind there's caveats to that, as if you actually intend physical harm or anything, it's to be taken as seriously as possible, and people need to show that to the proper authorities to get that resolved. Do I wish it was a better system? Absolutely. But, again, you run into problems. If someone is indeed given power to censor things, to, I don't know how to put it, but basically, yeah, just censor what they find inappropriate, what is the measure that they go by? What is the definition of harassment that they are given? Because if they're given, such and such is harassment, then everything that is going to be considered harassment. Like, say someone has a different opinion from someone else, that's harassment. And that would be deleted. And anyone can say, I don't agree with that, and bam, you're banned. Your account gets a strike, and in no time at all, you can no longer use one of your favorite websites because you had a disagreement with someone over something as silly as what tastes better, red licorice or black licorice. My personal favorite is the red licorice, although I have been known to eat. I won't finish that sentence. Anyway, yeah, see, it could be something as silly as that, as having a debate of what do you prefer, and red licorice over black licorice, and someone says, I don't like red licorice. Oh, that's abuse, according to this measure of what is considered to be abuse, and they would get a strike, they would be banned, it would be deleted, and whatever, what have you. And that is the inherent danger of what Miss Quinn and Miss Anita are trying to get put onto the online forum. It's not just about, the hate, the death threats and the rape threats. Those are, well, if you feel as though that they are credible threats, then please, by all means, send them to the authorities. That is what they are there for. They're public servants, and they're to serve the public. They're there to protect you. However, if these threats aren't valid, then they'll just be pushed aside. And it seems to me that the two of them want everything to be considered a threat, or what's the word? A harassment of them. Yeah, there we go. Harassment. when legitimate criticisms have been levied at them. And a lot of people are like, oh, these death threats are legitimate criticisms. It's just like, why did you say that? At no time did I say death threats are legitimate criticisms. There are legitimate criticisms, and then there's death threats. They are not one and the same. The death threats do not take away the credibility of the critique of Anita Sarkeesian or Miss Zoe Quinn. They do not. They are two separate entities, and that is what they are going to remain. Two separate entities. Now, if there is a implied death threat, or there is a death threat within the critique, then you might have something that would take away from the legitimacy of the critique, but you would be hard pressed to find one. Now, trolling. This is a difficult situation because it's a very fine line, and it is incredibly thin of what you can do and be considered a troll, and when you cross the line you become the ass. It's a difficult subject to talk about and broach because you really don't know where that line is. That line of going too far with a joke. Until someone tells you you've gone too far with the joke. And, there are certain lines, there are certain aspects of humor that we don't broach, that we don't go towards. I mean, yes, everything should be able to be joked about, but even so, there are certain things you don't joke about. This is true of any comedian. They will not joke about certain subjects. Certain subjects, even for the most crass, rude comic, they don't go to, because they know the moment they do, no one's going to laugh at it. No one's going to find it funny. They're going to get up and walk out, and he won't be able to sell any more tickets. What that is, I don't know. I really don't. But like I said, the internet is a PA system. And sometimes people can hit the caps lock or use the bullhorn, whatever, what have you, to scream obscenities and whatever. Then, yeah, I've done that. I'm guilty. And I'm a guilty party of that. But when you give someone control of something and they don't have limits of what they control, they soon run out of control. It's been known to happen. The old saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And another one is, from Watch Dogs, the game. It's like, when you have the Watch Dogs, who watches the Watch Dogs? So, censorship. No. Nothing, you can't, no. Just plain no. The freedom of speech is a glorious thing. Can it be abused? Absolutely. Any freedom, any right can be abused. And it's up to us to kind of not abuse it. This is a gift, ladies and gentlemen. The internet is a gift. And we need to make it better. Because if these trends continue, and this feminist internet is actually crafted, there's not going to be a safe place for anyone. Because, like I have said time and time and time again, the new feminism, this neo-feminism, which is the rotted corpse of the actual feminist movement, the women who literally sacrifice themselves by throwing themselves under the horses and in front of buses and whatever they did. These brave women to get women to be equal to men. And nowadays you see these self-important parrots that have been taught to parrot after their masters. These are not free-thinking individuals. These are parrots. They parrot the same things. Every time I see one of them, every time they finish a sentence, I'm tempted to say, "Squawk, Polly want a cracker." Seriously. It's like... I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, listen to this misogynist." To that I say, and? Really? What else you got? You're a sexist. Okay, and? So are you. Everything's nice and fine. See? You will suck all the wind out of their sails if you just go, and? Try it sometime. The next time someone calls you a misogynist, or a sexist, just go, and? See what happens. I really want everyone who's against feminism, if they're called a name, if they're called something, just go, and. Tell me what happens. Just send a video response to this, or write down in the comments what happened next. I'm actually curious to see if anyone does this. And if the responses you get are absolutely hilarious, please share that. I mean, come on. We gotta suck the wind out of their sails. We gotta stop this boat. Because it's no longer about equality. It's about the selfish, pretentious interests of a very select few people that do not care about anybody but themselves and what is important to them. If they actually cared about women's suffering at all whatsoever, they wouldn't be at the UN talking about how they're being harassed online, how their problems are so damn important, how the middling, pathetic little comments and dissension and discussion and critique of their work is so horrible. No, what they would be doing if they actually gave a damn is saying, we need to address the problems that are facing these women in these other parts of the world who are actually being sold into slavery, who are being beaten to death, who are treated as actual objects. They are literally objects. Not these fictional women in the game. They aren't objects. They bestow their favor upon the male character. They choose to bestow their favor like the old princesses that you say were so, you know, held back? No. See, I know a lot more than them. You see, back in the medieval times, the princesses would choose their champion. They would bestow their favor upon their chosen knight. Let me say that again, so it burrows into your brain. They would bestow their favor upon their chosen knight by tying a ribbon or their scarf or whatever, what have you, their handkerchief, and give it of their own volition to the knight that they chose. Hear that again? They chose to bestow their favor on their chosen champion, the one that they wanted to, I don't know what that one. Were there forced marriages? Yes. But then again, it was the Dark Ages, and it was horrible for everyone. But you get the point. And I love the bit where, if anyone ever says, well, 50 years ago, women were treated like cattle, I will laugh at you as hard as possible. Because I clearly don't ever recall my grandmother telling me of the before times when women roamed the prairies, free and clear of anything until the big bad man came and roped them and corralled them and branded them and sold them it out. Oh wait, that never happened. Is there slavery? Absolutely. Was there slavery in this company? No. Country? Yes. Unfortunately. But we did away with it. Men and women were both sold and traded. Not just women. Men and women. Maybe you ought to learn your history before saying idiotic nonsense that people like me just go, wait, hold on a second. You can't be serious. Both men and women were sold at auction. We have the details in the archives. It's a big shame that it actually happened, but both men and women were sold. You can't just say just women were sold. Women were treated like cattle. Yeah, women were too. It's just... See, this is the great thing about the internet. You can say whatever you want. But let's try to make it a better place. Because, like I said before, the internet is a gift. It was given to us by some people linking computers together. And the first modems spun up with that horrible screeching wail that will never ever leave your brain. Those of us who went with dial-up modems, you know what I'm talking about. You know it will never leave. That sound will never leave. Every time you hear it, you just cringe. I think someone actually had that as their ringtone, just to mess with people. I could be wrong, but, you know. Don't you hate it when you get crusties in your eye? You can't really get them. Anyway, got off topic. So, let's make this gift of the internet better. Let's try to tone down stuff. And to those of you who do these rape threats, these bomb threats, these threats of violence, just stop. I mean, do you really want this gift of the internet to be taken away? Do you want to be silenced? Do you not enjoy being able to look at things? Do you not enjoy being able to listen to things and discussing things on this wondrous web that we have, that no generation has had before? We're the first cyber generation. We are the cyber generation, people. And we could go back to just pen and paper, the notes, the letter era. We all remember how fun that was. So, I'm not saying that you have to. By all means, no. I'm just saying, consider the gift that you have been given and say, am I going to make this gift great? Or am I going to turn this gift into shit? Think about that Think about that, folks. Are you going to make this gift a great one? Or are you going to turn it into shit? Well, until the next video, stay classy, everyone, and remember, Happy All Hallows Eve whenever it rolls around. Be safe.